Hey guys, I'm Mark 2 here. Welcome back to the workshop. And today we'll be reviewing another unique item. And this is the Nano Weapon Set from NOTA Studios, which they dubbed Tony Accessories. So sit back and stay tuned. So ever since Bandai dropped the ball on producing non-screen accurate weapons for our SHF Mark 50, everyone has jumped the gun in order to produce screen accurate versions of the amazing nano weapon set. And one such company is Takara Tony. And here we have another company trying out their hand on the nano weapon set. And this is the NOTA Studios Tony Accessories. So let's see what's inside the box. So looking at the contents of the box, we have here the nano weapon set from NOTA Studios. And it contains the cluster cannons, hand blades, wings, and I guess this is the wing holder. I guess, yes, pretty much. And there's a new item here, the Nano Qatar, the one he used as a latch ditch effort to damage Thanos, but kind of backfired. So as you can see, this is the Nano Qatar here, right here. But this is not all. This box has another layer. So it contains more accessories. Again, we have the battering rams, the foot clamps, and this is a holder for the cluster cannons, which NOTA Studio stylized as energy waves or energy beams. And we have the nano shield and another new accessory, which is the nano booster. This is the one that he used to go after Ebony Maw during his escape from Earth while Spider-Man was tagging along. So let's look at the accessories in more detail. So looking at the first layer, we have here the wing adapter for holding the wings, and it doubles as a holder also for the cluster cannons, unlike Takara Tony's, which had separate holders for the wings and separate holders for the cluster cannons. NOTA Studios release used this as the holder for the wings. So you simply assemble it this way. Simply insert the wings as so. And there you have the wings. Screen accurate wings for the Mark 50. So comparing it to Takara Tony's version, well, they're almost similar to each other, with the exception of first the materials. Materials used by NOTA Studios is rubbery plastic, much near to the rubbery parts that SHF use, while Takara Tony use a much harder plastic. And as you can see, I don't know if it shows, but there's a different shade of red for the NOTA Studios versus the Takara Tony. And there you have it. Both are equally nicely detailed. However, the red of the NOTA Studios is not that really matches the Mark 50's armor. And Takara Tony's paint job is much closer to the Mark 50. Another thing that I'd like to talk about is the adapters. As you can see, Takara Tony used a boxy adapter, boxy shape adapter, but it does the job. Although it's simple, it's much effective in holding the wings. NOTA Studios, on the other hand, take the extra effort of sculpting the holder. So both of them has the same shape that the Nano 50 has on his back when you remove the plate on this back. So the peg is supposed to stick on the nano weapons on the Mark 50's back to hold the nano weapon wings. Okay, so let's try on the NOTA Studios wing. Okay, so we have the NOTA Studios wings already assembled, and let's test fit it on Ironman. Oh, looks like I already have a problem here. It won't hold. I guess the peg for this attachment is too short, as you can see. I don't know if it's just mine, but I think this is a factory defect. Takara Tony's peg is much longer. In fact, it's around twice the size of this peg on the NOTA Studios. Bummer. So I guess this is one negative or a knock against NOTA Studios version of the nano weapon set. And in order to make this stick, is either you use blue tack or repair this peg and make it longer. I'm deciding to repair this peg and replace it with a longer peg because I really don't like using blue tack. So stand by.
2,000 years later.
So here's the finished product. As you can see, I've already made the peg longer than it was before, and it's now comparable to the length of the Takara Tony nano weapon wings. So let's try it on. And yes, I think we've succeeded, as it's there, properly attached. Unlike earlier when I showed you that it keeps falling off due to the small peg. So if ever you have this set and you encounter a similar problem, well then the best way is to cut off the original peg and replace it with a longer peg. And if you have any Gundam sprues or any model kit sprues that you have around, you can use that. So I just drilled the hole with this hand drill on the connector so that I would ensure that I will not punch a hole through. And then I slowly increase the diameter of the hole, and after I had around a 1 or 2 mm deep hole, I attached the peg and put some super glue inside the hole to secure it. And then I cut the peg to size through test fitting. That's why I was able to come up with this size. But if you want to be exact, it's probably around 2 to 2.5 millimeters. So that's it. So this is the wing for the Nano Weapons set of NOTA Studios. Okay, so now that we had that out of the way, we can now start with the comparison. First, we compare the wings, and as you can see, Takara Tony's wings have a wider depth to it, and the NOTA Studio, although the same size, seems to look a little smaller. There are certain differences in both designs that isn't noticeable up front, but as you look at it, you'll see that they are really different. Hence, leading us to the conclusion that NOTA used their own design that is different from Takara Tony's. Takara used this blocky attachment point to attach this wing to the figure, but NOTA went the extra mile of making a detailed attachment point. However, because of the poor design on the peg out of the box, it doesn't fare really well versus the Takara Tony. It would have if it came out perfect, but as it is, Takara Tony wins out on this department. Next, we compare the power mallet, or as they say. So as you can see, Takara Tony's is noticeably thicker, but NOTA's is a little longer, and they're not similar at all. They may take the same general shape, but the details on these are really different. And one thing that I noticed is that Takara Tony used a UV reflective paint to simulate the glow of this power mallet, but in NOTA's case, they use a translucent blue plastic. So you won't need UV light to make this glow. You only need to shine a light through it and it will glow. Okay, and NOTA Studios has a hole on the back where you can attach the repulsor blast or any blast effects to simulate that extra thrust of like a rocket punch. But Takara Tony's can easily be fixed if you drill a hole. However, in this case, NOTA has more gimmicks, but the general appearance of Takara Tony's workmanship wins out in the end. As for the foot clamps, you can see that they're similar with respect to each other. As you can see, details are similar. However, they are also different at the same time. NOTA's Studios is noticeably thicker, especially on the calves, and as you can see, Tony's has a much more glossier and richer finish than the NOTA Studios foot clamps. So with that, NOTA has already matched what set A Tony, Takara Tony offered. However, it didn't come with these two adapters and these two LEDs that come with the Takara Tony, so you can make your energy blaster glow. So that's one uh, accessory that's not included with the NOTA Studios release. So moving on, as you can see, NOTA already matched Tony's set A with the exception of the adapters and the LEDs that make it light up or make your energy cannon for the Mark 50 light up. But there's more. More accessories are included with the NOTA Studios and almost matches Takara Tony's individual sets. So let's take a look at the other sets. So here is the rest of the NOTA Studios accessories for the Mark 50. And what we have here are the Takara Tony Set B or the Nano Weapon Set B by Takara Tony. As you can see, again, it almost matches the Takara Tony set by itself, with the exception of these two, which are included in the set B. These are the cluster cannons, or I forgot what they call this. These are the hand cannons. But NOTA provided two unique pieces which are not included in any of the set A or set B of Takara Tony, which is the Nano Qatar and the Nano Booster. So let's look at them in more detail. So comparing the cluster cannons for the NOTA Studios and the Takara Tony, you can see that the NOTA Studios are of a different shape than Takara Tony. So just by looking at it, we can already see that they have a different design concepts. So Takara Tony has articulation on 2 points, and the general shape is quite boxy, while the NOTA Studios is just comes in one variant, and is a little more roundish or organic looking, akin to the design of the Mark 50. However, I believe that the Takara Tony's is the more screen accurate one. And as you can see, Takara Tony cluster cannons comes in two sizes, a big one and a small one, while the NOTA Studios cluster cannons only come in one variant. So this is for the NOTA Studios. Basically, the Takara Tony is much lighter since, as I've mentioned before, this is made of a flexible plastic that is similar to what the softer plastics of SHF or Marble Legends are made of. But the Takara Tony's is made of hard plastic, and which makes it much lighter than this one. So the Takara Tony included holders for the cluster cannons, where the extenders are made of clear plastic. So Takara Tony recently announced that he'll be sending out support parts for this, as this tends to droop down with heat, especially if your display case is hot or humid, like here in the Philippines. So it will tend to droop down, and that attachment will allow us to support this part to prevent it from bending. So basically, Tony provided this support block and these two holders wherein you attach the cluster cannons. As I remember, the bigger ones are the ones that you attach to the inside part, and the smaller ones are attached to the outer part. So here is the cluster cannons of Takara Tony. While for NOTA Studios, there is no separate holder. So in order to use the cluster cannons, you have to remove the wings and attach these energy wave like forms to the wing adapter. So this will serve now as the attachment point for the cluster cannons. So sorry. Cluster cannons are attached in this by attaching them to the individual ports. So you can see that the cluster cannons for the NOTA Studios are more stylized, and kudos to the designer, since instead of just providing an invisible holder or clear holder, they opted to stylize the holder to make it look that there's an energy wave holding it together. So basically, this is how the two cluster cannons look like. So Takara Tony has more width or spread to it, and NOTA Studios has more weight, since this is made of mostly flexible plastic. Attaching them to the figure is no problem. So they use the same attachment points. So this is attached to the back like this. And Takara Tony's is attached like so. Remember that since this is quite heavy, the ball joint on the body can't fully support the weight of the NOTA Studio. Though it looks visually pleasing, it has too much weight, which the body of the Mark 50 cannot really support. So that's it for the cluster cannons. So for the next comparison, we'll be talking about the Nano Blades. So this one on my left is the NOTA Studio Nano Blade, and on my right is the Takara Tony Nano Blade. As you can see, they're similar yet different from each other. The Nano Blade of NOTA Studio is much thicker than Takara Tony's blades, and it's just painted over with blue, as you can see here. while Takara Tony's is made of a translucent blue plastic. So they both have liberal use of the translucent plastics, as NOTA Studios opted to use translucent plastic for their battering ram. Yet Takara Tony opted to use painted plastic. While in the hand blade, NOTA Studios opted to use the painted blades, and for Tony, he used the clear blades. So as you can see, there are hands molded. So there's one each for each hand. So to attach, you simply remove the hand and peg in the wrist. Peg it in on the wrist joint of your Mark 50. So there is the Nota Studios pegs in a bit more harder, and Takara's pegs in easily, actually more easily than the Nota Studios blade. Okay, so let's attach these. Okay, so there you have it. There's the Takara Tony Mark 50 hand blade, and here is the Nota Studios hand blade. This Mark 50, where the cluster cannons are attached, is I need to lean it against the hull of armor so that it won't fall over, since it's really heavy. So as you can see, the hand blades are nearly very similar to each other. So next would be the nano shield. For the nano shields, Nota and Takara Tony have a very similar design, which is taken from the movie. However, the size of these two are really different. As you can see, Takara Tony's rides up to his chest, while the Nota Studios only rides up to the waist. I don't know whether which one is accurate, but certainly when mounted on, Takara Tony's is much more impressive since it's a lot bigger. However, it's more unwieldy than the Nota Studios version. Also, there's only one attachment point for the Nota Studios version, while for Takara Tony's, you can see that there are pegs here and here, and you can basically remove this holder and attach it wherever you want on the shield. So to attach it on the shield, you attach the shield, you simply remove the hand, place it on the arm like so, and put the hand back. So it is necessary for one to remove the hands before placing the shield on the arm, since the shield holder won't fit on the arm without the hand being removed. Same with Takara Tony. So you have to attach it without the hand and place the hand. over the shield, as you can see. Takara Tony's is generally more impressive with regards to the Nano Shield. So, with that said, Nota Studios has already almost matched the set A and set B of Takara Tony with just one package. With the exceptions of this cluster cannons, it generally matches the Takara Tony set A and B part for part. And it even has this and this, which we will talk about right now. So the final two accessories for Nota Studio would be, first is this one, the Nano Qatar. This weapon is quite memorable since this is the last weapon that Tony tried to use on Thanos before he was defeated. And also this one. This one is also a memorable attachment from the Mark 50 since this booster was used twice. First, when he went after the ship of Ebony Maw before it went outer space, and second one wherein he used this to kick Thanos in the face. So as you can see, it's very well detailed. And as you can see, there are two slots here where you need to place the legs in order for it to simulate boosters being used. So this has a proper back or rear and front side. So front side is this part. So basically the triangle has to be looking pointing downwards. And you simply attach it on the legs like so. Okay, so there it is. You can already simulate Tony on a flying stance using this booster. And the Nano Qatar, like the Nano Blade, has a molded hand, which is molded on the right hand, so you can only put it in one side. And much like the Nano Blade, you just simply peg it onto the wrist peg of your Mark 50, and there it is. So he already has the Nano Qatar attached. So that's all the accessories for the Nota Studios pack for the Nano weapon set for Mark 50. So the Nota Studios set came at a later date as Takara Tony's set. So we can say that it's a little late to the game. However, Takara Tony's was only set for a limited run. Hence, it's not being pre-ordered right now in most stores, and you can only get it directly from Takara Tony. However, Nota Studios opted for a more wider distribution, so you can get it in various online toy stores. There's also the matter of pricing, wherein you get almost the same contents of Takara Tony's set A and set B for a much lesser price. Takara Tony's costs around $100 for set A and set B, And Nota Studios only cost around $60. This is already for all of the sets that you see here. So if you're on a tight budget, or if you don't can't get the Takara Tony sets anymore, then I recommend this Nota's Mark 50 Nano Weapon set for you, since it's the next best thing that can be for your Mark 50. However, if you still have uh, Takara Tony version for the nano weapons, then you don't need to get this. So that's it for my review of the Noto Studios uh, Mark 50 nano weapon set. And I hope that you found this video informative. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Please leave a like. And thank you for watching, and see you on the next video.